Hello everybody, this is Lara from Pure Elliott Wave with the second winner of the vote. This is Verasity. Quite a big vote for this, so someone must have organised you guys on social media to vote for this. There's a lot of people interested in this. I have only done one Elliott Wave count of this a long time ago, and it was expecting an impulse to continue higher, and I was expecting a fourth wave and then a fifth wave, but that's invalidated because the fourth wave has overlapped first wave price territory. So I'm going to have a look at two possible wave counts. This is the first one. I want to see if primary one will subdivide as a 5-wave structure. And then the other idea that I can see is, what if from here to here it's a zigzag up, a zigzag down incomplete, and then maybe another zigzag up or flat to the side, so some kind of huge double combination. So this will be an alternate idea. If you found my channel, then you know that Elliott Wave analysis can be a really powerful analytical tool when it's done right. But I hope you also know by now that there is a lot of junk out there online calling itself Elliott Wave. And when it comes to online courses, most of them are just PowerPoint presentations. Oh, how boring. I have used my 16 years experience, my chartered market technician designation, and my experience as a New Zealand teacher, put that all together, and I have created a truly unique online course to learn Elliott Wave. Learn Pure Elliott Wave has some really unique exercises that I've created for kinesthetic learners. That's people who learn by physically doing, and my students have told me these are really powerful exercises for a really deep understanding of Elliott Wave. So what are you waiting for? My course is only on sale for another 24 hours. Click on the link below and start learning today. Let's have a go at this one first. Let's see if this upward movement will subdivide as a 5-wave impulse. The question is the third wave going to work? The second wave, not a problem. Intermediate 2 is a double combination, zigzag X, regular flat. Does intermediate 3 subdivide as a 5-wave structure though? I don't want to see it, it could be over here as a 5-wave impulse, but then the fifth wave would be truncated, and truncations really aren't common, but now it does resolve the problem of this upward movement here, otherwise being a 3. So the fifth wave is truncated by, let's see how much. It's truncated by 10.8%, so just almost 11% the length of the third wave. That's a little bit too much, really, for comfort. The key here is going to be, is the third wave going to subdivide okay as an impulse? And I think it is. No, I wouldn't do that. That's got to be over here. The third wave subdivides fine. Fifth wave is truncated. I don't like that, but okay, if 2 is over here, it's 61.8% the length of 1, the depth of 1 logarithmic function, that is. It's a 97.8% reduction of wave 1, so it would be very, very likely that primary 2 would be over there. But I guess it could continue, so you could see it as this, although it's really not got much room to move into. And B maybe could be continuing as a triangle or some kind of combination. Let's see if A subdivides as a 5, because this does look like an impulse, doesn't it? I don't think you guys are going to like my analysis of this one. It's going to be rather bearish, to be honest. What I'm doing here is expecting that we're seeing nested third waves, so very, very common when third waves extend. And when you do that, look at how neatly this fits. That's a really neat fit. So I think that is actually a complete impulse, which means I expect we're probably seeing some kind of combinational triangle for B, and then it'll break out downward for C. So this first wave count expects that a zigzag for a second wave correction is incomplete. This does subdivide beautifully as a 5-wave impulse, so you could make it a zigzag or a double zigzag, but I think if there's enough volume for decent looking Elliott Wave structures, I think this is most likely an impulse, which means that the pullback is not over. So A, probably triangle or combination for B, downward breakout of this consolidation for C to move below the end of A, probably not by too much though, and 2 can't move beyond the start of 1, below 0.000217. Alternate idea, I'm going to see X in the same way though, so let's see if this movement subdivides best as a zigzag. So I think you want to put A and B down here. B fits as a double combination. So you have zigzag for minor W, X, regular flat for minor Y. I don't want to see B over here You could. It feels like it would be fudging it though, because then you can only have one zigzag in a triple combination. The only other way you can have more than it is if you have all three structures are zigzags and there's a triple zigzag. But within a combination, which is combining different structures, you can only have one zigzag and a triple. So one zigzag and two flats, or one zigzag and a flat and a triangle. Those are your only possible structures. So if we put B over here, this third structure is probably going to be a zigzag. Unless it starts here, it could be a flat. So B could be over there. But I think it's more likely B's over here, because again, triple combinations are very, very rare. Now let's see how C subdivides. Okay, that looks fine, except for this fifth wave. That looks like a three-wave structure. Let's have a look at that. We're going to look at this on the daily time frame to try and determine if we can make this, if this will fit, if it does look like a decent impulse. Yeah, it could be actually. That could be an impulse. You've got a more brief and shallow fourth wave and a deeper and time-consuming second wave. That's pretty common for cryptocurrencies. So there really isn't actually much difference in expected direction for this one. We need to wait for this consolidation to complete. A downward breakout is expected, and then when that's done, another huge sideways structure or an upward structure. This structure could be either a double zigzag or a double combination, and they are really different corrective structures. They're both labeled WXY, but double zigzags should have strong counter trend movements. They should have a strong slope. So if this is a double zigzag, W is a zigzag, the two doubles are joined by a 3 in the opposite direction, and then the second structure would be a zigzag, and its purpose is to deepen the correction when the first zigzag doesn't move price deep enough, so that the whole structure has a strong slope, which means if this is a double zigzag, Y would be expected to move substantially above the end of W. But this could also be a double combination, and they are very different structures. Zigzag for W, X, and then Y could be either a flat or a triangle whose purpose is not to deepen the correction, but to take up time and move price sideways. In order to achieve that purpose, Y usually ends about the same level as W, and it is absolutely, completely and utterly impossible to tell you if this could be a double zigzag or a double combination. The only thing I can tell you is double zigzag structures are much more common than double combinations. So the probability of a double zigzag is higher than the probability of a double combination, but the probability of a double combination isn't that low. It's like maybe, 20%. So you have to consider both structures. Now the main idea, an impulse over here, a zigzag completing lower for a second wave, and then a third wave. The third wave may only subdivide as an impulse, and it must move far enough above the end of the first wave to then allow a fourth wave to unfold and remain above wave 1 price territory. So this wave count after the consolidation or triangle completing and a downward breakout, after that it expects a strong impulse to the upside. So if we started to see new highs above the end of primary 1 with a strong support from volume, a strong increase in range and volatility, and a strong increase in momentum, then it would probably be a third wave, and this would be the right wave count. So at this point, to be honest, we're probably not going to know which of those three scenarios is playing out for Verasity for at least another year or more. So I'm really sorry I can't give you a solid answer for this one, but those are the Elliott Wave structures I see. Let's look at technicals. Price is moving lower. There's been a little bit of a push from volume, but in the last couple of weeks, volume is essentially declining as price falls of its own weight. It's approaching support about 0.004454. May expect a little bit of a bounce there. I'm noticing some strong bullish candlestick reversal patterns that haven't really led to anything at all. Here's a huge bullish engulfing pattern, just led to sideways movement. Bearish engulfing pattern here, almost a shooting star, but not quite. A hammer candlestick here led to only a little bounce, a bearish engulfing candlestick pattern here, a huge long lower wick, didn't lead to anything, a strong bullish engulfing golden candlestick pattern here, just led to a small bounce, and now we've got a piercing pattern for the current session. It may not lead to much. Let's look at the context of this bullish reversal pattern. Well, it does have a little bit of a push from volume. We do have a weak bearish signal though from on-balance volume, so it looks like we're probably going to get more downward movement for the short term for Verasity. RSI is neutral, just having recently reached oversold. The last time RSI reached oversold was December 2022, associated with a fairly long-term low. Price has been going up and sideways days since then. So we might see lower lows, and if we start to see some bullish divergence, then we might see the end of this big downward movement. I'll be watching RSI and price quite carefully for this one. ADX tells us there's a downward trend. It's nearing extreme. For this market, ADX can reach over 70. So once it gets to about 60, that's when it's in danger territory. So there's a ways to go before that happens. There's room for this downward trend to continue for Verasity. ATR is showing a decline as price falls, so there's volume's really dropped off, volatility has dropped off. It looks like interest is dropping off. I don't think the low has been found yet. I think there's a little bit of support in this chart for the Elliott Wave counts, that both of them expecting a downward breakout from this consolidation in coming weeks to months. I would use this trend line as an indication of a potential breakout. If we saw a full weekly candlestick below and not touching this trend line, then we might have the end of this consolidation as some kind of combination, or maybe it's forming a little triangle to complete, and then we'd have a downward breakout likely underway. When the downward breakout comes, I will expect at least a slight new low below 0.002143 to avoid a truncation, and then as soon as that happens, I'll be looking for bullish divergence between price and RSI for ADX to reach extreme, and then I'd be looking for a strong bullish reversal pattern, and if I saw all those things lined up following that, I would be looking for strength and volume on upward sessions. So make a list of those things to look for in coming months, and that's what you want to see to identify a low for Verasity. That's it from me today with the second market that you voted for. I'll probably run a new vote next week or maybe the week after.